Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. So let me ask you a question. What do you do when you've got little bits of paint left over from other pours? Do you save it for something in the future? Is it enough to save it, or do you just dispose of it? Well, today I've come to the end of lots of colours and I'm going to make a creation using all those colours on the canvas, and I'm going to show you how you can use a lot of combination of colours and a technique without making it muddy. So that's the intention today. I'm going to repurpose a canvas. I made a creation a long time ago. I wasn't really that happy with it, but I'm going to reuse the canvas so nothing goes to waste. And there's going to be a twist right at the end, but I'll talk more about that throughout the video. Thank you so much for being with us today. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so that's the canvas that I'm going to reuse. And then these are all of the colours that I've been using for some pours recently. A combination of colours. These are just actually paint and water using various brands. I will list all these colours in the description box just so you can see what brands they are and the ratios that I use. But as you can see, I've got some yellows, some greens, some oranges, some magentas, a pink, a couple of blues, got a Payne's grey. I actually mixed up this colour myself. It's like a deep olive, almost a brown. But yeah, these are my colours. Let's go. So this is about using up all my paints. I've got various colours and I don't want to muddy them within this one creation. So first of all, it's about getting those colours onto the canvas. I've sped up parts of the video, but I really do want you to see all the different colours that I place on the canvas and how I do that. So I'm going to take one colour at a time and use up all that paint and place the colours one by one on the canvas. So you can see here, I've taken one colour at a time and I've got an array of colours on the surface area. So I'm using my yellow last because I don't want that to muddy. When it's mixed with other colours, there's obviously that risk of it going green or even brown when it's mixed with some of the colours that you can see on the surface area. So yellow is why I add that colour last. So that sits on top of the other colours that are underneath. I'm just using my torch, and the torch is used in this instance just to pop any air bubbles. I don't want any air bubbles in my work. I'm then going to use a cell activator. I'm going to use two different colours. The first one is a white activator. So this is titanium white mixed with Australian Floetrol, 1 part paint to 4 parts Australian Floetrol. And that's what the cell activator is. So I place the palette knife on the canvas, just swipe over the top of all those colours, and then once I've done the white one, I'm then going to do 2 black swipes. The black activator, again using Australian Floetrol, but this time lamp black, 1 part paint, 4 parts Floetrol, and that's the cell activator. So that's both swipes done in black and the one swipe in white. So I just want to add a few swirls also on top. So I'm just placing my palette knife in the paint and just doing a few swirls in between that block of colour and the swipe that's created those cells and lacing. And then it's about really covering that full surface area with the paint. So let me just show you a close-up before I move any of that volume of paint, and you can see there the colours that we placed on the canvas, the swirls using the palette knife, and then those cells created with the cell activator. It's now about picking up the canvas and tilting the paint from side to side to fully cover that canvas surface area. And it's also about really looking at the patterns, looking at how that paint moves across that canvas. So it's about getting that balance of the white swipe mixed with the two black swipes. So when you're tilting out your paint, don't be afraid to just place the canvas back on the table, take a step back and really look at the detail and the pattern as it's forming. And then you'll use your own intuition to know how much more of that paint or pattern you want to tilt off the canvas and where you really want your focal point to be. So I'm happy with the composition of this. I've tilted as much paint as I want to. So I'm now placing this back on the table. And then I'm going to take my embroidery hoop. And actually, I really like that corner section. Or maybe I like this middle section more. No, I think I'm going to opt for the corner section. So I'm going to place my embroidery hoop over that corner. I'm just going to place it down on the canvas. I just press it slightly just to allow that vacuum to occur where that hoop meets with the paint on the canvas. I'm then taking the gold paint and I'm placing the gold around the outside edge of the embroidery hoop. And you've guessed it, I'm also going to do a swipe over the top. I'm going to go through that process with you now. So I've placed the gold around the outside edge of the embroidery hoop, and then I'm going to take the toilet paper. It's folded a couple of times to this width, and then I'm literally dipping the paper into the gold, and then I'm dragging the paper from that edge of the embroidery hoop to the outer edge of the canvas, and I'm going to go all the way around that embroidery hoop where I've layered that gold. I'm not applying too much pressure when I add the paper to that gold. I allow the paper to soak up some of that gold paint and then just drag it from the embroidery hoop to the outer edge. It just glides across the surface area because don't forget we've already got paint on our surface. So that really helps the flow of that paint when I do the swipe with the toilet paper and the gold. Oh my goodness, I'm really happy with this, and although it's really busy and really colourful, I haven't really done anything like this before. So let me remove the embroidery hoop. I'm going to use my torch to pop all those air bubbles. I don't want any air bubbles in my work, so I just go over the surface area with that torch, and I'm going to take you in now for a closer look. I absolutely love it. I'm just going to ensure I've got good consistency. A thumbs up, and here we go. Let's show you some of those details. So what you'll see here on this creation is a combination of that swipe with the black and the combination of the swipe with the white. And then once we've done that, we place that embroidery hoop over the top, and then we swiped with the toilet paper over all those elements. And that's what creates almost like a 3D effect. We've got that pattern within the hoop. You can see that pattern underneath those rays of gold that come out from that embroidery hoop. I love the vibrancy of this, and I love that I've managed to use up all my colours, and I've kept that yellow vibrant because that's the one colour that I added last. So of course I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to take you in for a closer look at the dry version. But I'd love to know what you think. Do you like this? And it's almost sparked some creativity for me in terms of colour palettes. So what would you love to see? Let me know in the comments below. And here we are. This is the dry version. I'm really happy with how it kind of just stayed in place. It didn't really change much. The paints will be even more vibrant once I have applied a coat of gloss varnish. Whenever I sell a piece, I always do that last part of the process. So I then cover the creation. In this case, this is the painting, with a gloss varnish. I use a spray varnish, normally by Winsor & Newton, but that's my go-to varnish. I just find that gives a good, even consistency and great coverage. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had so much fun, and this is so different for me that, yeah, it's given me some energy. And maybe this is a bit of an enlightenment piece. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And whatever you're up to creatively, I hope it's going really well. And more importantly, I hope you're learning and just having fun and exploring your own creativity too. I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week ahead, everyone. Take care. Bye.